Hello, greetings. Welcome to the channel, Northworthy, Sagas and Stories. Now I'm your host for today, and today's video is about these pair of items down here. And you may be asking yourself, what are they? Well, they are leg bindings, or as I like to call them in the old tongue of the Anglo-Saxons, re-ingers. Oh yes, so stay tuned for a few minutes and I'm going to demonstrate in this video how you put leg bindings on your legs. So yes, it's going to be an educational Viking and Anglo-Saxon history, and this is suitable for everybody, and especially if you're studying GCSEs and you're looking to learn about Viking clothing, because we do love Viking clothing. But before we continue, if you can do one thing for me, is to smash that like button. Now, as you can see, I'm a Viking, I'm fully clothed up, I've got a nice coat on, and I've got a nice woolly tunic and under tunic or underskirtle. That is where we get the word skirt or shirt from. And as you can see, I'm wearing some nice woolly trousers. Very nice, I'm sure you agree. I'll show you this leg as well, make it even. But I don't want to go out in the fields and get my trousers muddy. So that is why leg bindings was invented. And they're a very old thing, they go back way into the Iron Age. But Iron Age leg bindings were different to the pair I have down here, because they were basically one sheet of wool, 14 inches or 36 centimetres by a metre or 33 inches, I could say roughly from my mind, and they'll be tied off around your leg. But as time progressed, so did leg bindings. And like I said, leg bindings are very fascinating and very important. Now in the modern world we tend to call these puttees. Puttees is a Urdu word from India for basically what it means is like leg wraps, and it's designed to stop dirt and mud and dust getting in. And it's a fascinating thing, and of course they was adopted by the army, and I think in a video Anglo-Saxon has talked more about this and the history of leg bindings in that sense.
What use are these? Well, they serve a number of purposes, and if you've got a moment I'll tell you. First of all, it gets cold at certain times of the year and you want to keep warm.
It does.
As you can see here, Bragi is wearing roost trousers. They're extra wide because it traps the air.
Yes.
Now, you notice from there downwards, it's quite tight. So, if he puts a binding on, like a bandage, it keeps the hot air in. And also, if he should sprain his ankle, he can bind it up using that putty as to put on a splint which supports himself.
So what did the Vikings call them? And so even today we still have leg bindings. In fact, I used to be an American Civil War reenactor, and we had something called gaiters, which are very similar to do the same job. And today the military, they have leg protectors at the below the legs to protect their clothing as well. So it is still around. So first of all, with a leg binding, what are they made out of? Well, they're made out of wool, and a good quality wool. Now, I'm going to pick this one up. This is one I've made some time ago. And one thing you should know is that when you wrap them back up, after you put them on, always wrap them up inside out. And I'm going to demonstrate this one in a minute, over down here with this one. We'll demonstrate this. So I'm going to wrap this leg binding. So as you can see, I would say that's about 2 meters long, maybe a little bit shorter. One day I'm going to measure these exactly for you and give you the actual length. And as for the width of them, they're about 3 inches, 3.5 inches to something like that, and 10 centimeters in width. And this is the cord you can see in my hand, and it's a handmade cord and made by myself. And it took a lot of work to make this cord, I must say. Making cordage is not easy, and it's very time consuming and hard on your hands. So the first thing I'm going to do, demonstrate wrapping a leg binding up. So you'll notice I've got the outside edge here, and I've got this cord. I'm going to place it along here, and then I'm going to start wrapping up and rolling this leg binding up, making sure that cord is in the centre. I know I'm a little bit far away, but I've got a massive big wood, oak stump in the way, and then I needed to be on camera to demonstrate the fact I can show my legs. So I'm going to keep rolling this, and the cord is going to stay in that centre. I've got a bit of a cold, I apologise. And there's the cord rolled up, And then I'm just going to finish off rolling this up. And then that's that leg binding ready to go on my leg. And the reason why you roll it up inside out is so that when you get it on your leg, I'm getting my leg up here. I'm wearing a pair of Viking turn shoes with a pair of woolly socks. I don't have that many pairs of authentic socks. It's something I want to get into, but I don't tend to wear them on camera too much because I want to save them for events and not wear them away. What I do have is old type of woolly socks, and they're not too bad for this period. And it's very important that when you do wear Viking shoes, you do have some comfortable socks on. If you've got to wear modern socks, you've got to wear modern socks, but just get a pair of woolly socks to go over your modern socks, and it won't look too bad. But another idea with using leg bindings, it will hide some of your sock. So you notice the first thing I do is I'm going to put my leg binding there, hold it in my hand. I'm going to pull the leg binding round, and I'm going to make sure that it's holding and fastening in the first section. And in another video, when I do some experimental archaeology, I'm going to solve this solution, this problem about the leg bindings coming undone at the bottom of your leg. So you bear with me on that. And then I'm going to continue to wrap up, as you see. And I try to keep it as neat as possible. And then I come to the end. I've got two bits of cord. One goes out this way, it's a short section, and this long section I'm going to wrap around. And it should go round twice. And then I'm just going to simply tie off with a bow knot. And then that will stay secure, I won't come undone. And I've now got my first leg binding on. And I'm going to finish the video by standing on this log so you can get a closer look before we go. And I'll jump off in a dramatic way without falling down and say goodbye. But we're not there yet. I've got to put this other leg binding on. And as you can see, it's already been rolled up. In fact, I'm going to demonstrate again so you understand and you get this idea. And if you do go online to buy some leg bindings, what you're often going to get is just a piece of wool. And it will be 2 meters long maybe, and it will be 12 centimeters wide. And it won't be, there'll be no sewing on it at all. So what I recommend you do is actually just go and buy a 2 meter length of wool from a wool trader and make your own. Not only will you save money, and you're going to get to the stage when you can sew up, and these are dead easy to sew with a blanket stitch and a wooding stitch. You're going to have a really authentic pair of leg bindings, and you're also going to have a lot of more wool left over from that 2 meter by, let's say 1.6 meter wool, piece of blanket. So, and you could use a blanket as well. You could get a blanket and sew, cut into strips and get 2 strips and sew them together and do the same thing. You could do that on a budget. So again, I've got my cord on the outside of my leg binding, and this time I'm going to just show it this way, and I'm rolling up and making sure the cord is in the centre still. It doesn't have to be neat because the cord comes undone as you put it on your leg, but because I've done this so many times over the years, I'm just used to doing it, and I try to do this every time. I take my leg bindings off, I don't leave them in a heap. I roll them up and I put them in a leather sack for next time. And it's very important that you don't leave your wool lying about, because moths will be attracted to it. You do not want to wait a season and winter goes and you go and get your kit out and find holes in it. That's very amateurish. So, try to do better. So again, I'm going to, this time, I'm going to start around here. I'm going to hold this section with my hand and wrap around once. So this section here is secure. And now I can start feeding my leg binding up my leg. Trying to be as neat as possible. And some days it will get out of your hand, you will drop it, but you can just continue doing what you're doing. And again, you'll see I've come to the end, and I've got a short cord here and a long cord. And the long cord goes round twice, and then I can fasten it off with a bow. And generally these won't come undone, because I've been in that situation in battle where your leg bindings come undone and it's a nuisance, and you've got to go off to the edge of the battlefield and try to do something with them, because you don't want to half a metre of leg binding dragging around with you. And it's a very stupid thing to do, and it does happen. So having a secure way to fasten your leg bindings and making sure that they stay on your leg is a great thing to do. So I'm going to stand up here now, give me a second. I might fall over, so this could be comical. And now you can get a good view of my leg bindings. It's alright, it's only a metre fall down there, I'm safe. I used to be a rock climber and a caver in my previous life. I mean, I could make them a bit neater as well, but I was just demonstrating, and I'm sure you agree, they look quite nice. Oh yes, let me go back. So yes, I think that's a fascinating thing, and leg bindings are just wonderful, wonderful things, they really are. And I think in the future, when I may do a live stream and get myself prepared beforehand and talk to you about all random things on live stream and actually sew a pair up, because I'm preparing to do that as well on some live streams. And once I just get to that comfortable stage in my mind and my set, I've got everything ready to sew. I've got quite a few things need sewing. I've got like one of these shoes, you know, the button of antlers falling off yesterday, and so your kit always needs repairing and maintaining. Yes, and I hope you've got something out of this video, and it's educational as well as fun. I try to be funny in these videos as much as possible, and I try to be genuine and down to earth, and just talk to you like you're my friend and you're my family and my brothers and my sisters, and we're all here to make a better world and to bring history alive and to respect and honour history and to honour our ancestors, no matter where they come from in the world. We should always honour where we come from. And you know, the world is a wonderful place. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Oh yes, and keep battling on. So, if you could do two things for the channel, number one is to go and, you know, if you're not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed. I know about 60% of the people that watch are not subscribed to the channel, so I'm going to give you three things actually. So number one, go and subscribe to the channel, and if you have subscribed, make sure you're not being unsubscribed by YouTube. If you've not watched it for a year or two, and you come back to the channel, you say, oh look, there's a load of content at Northworthy being put up, you may have been unsubscribed by YouTube. So the second thing to do, number two, is to, of course, share the video. Sharing is so important, and it's one of the key ways, as well as growing a community, to get sort of settled on YouTube. So by sharing your videos, by sharing our videos, and if we could all share each other's videos, we would all be better off. So share the videos, you know, go to Facebook, Twitter and all those places, Reddit. If anybody uses Reddit or read it, and you could go and share on there for me, because I'm not on Reddit and I've got too many other things I've got to do. So if we could have a notification sharing squad for Reddit for us, and probably Twitter, because that's popular, that would be great. And number three, the third thing and the last thing I'm going to ask you to do, and I've asked you already in this video, so I'm being very cheeky here, very cheeky, is to like the video. Boop the button, as channel creators say. Yes, Nate, go on, boop that button. And I do love that channel. If you're wanting to learn about YouTube, if you aspire to be a great channel, to do great things in life, then I do recommend Channel Makers. It's a fantastic channel, and Nate really does come across really well in his videos and gets the key points, and I try to watch as much as possible, but because I'm a content creator, I'm always behind the camera, on the camera, thinking about videos, and my brain does not stop. And I've got so many videos in hand at the moment. Literally on TikTok there's 468 videos in my draft, and it's taken up a lot of space on this phone. So yes, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next educational, entertaining history video in 2 days, 48 hours, not long to wait. But tomorrow you got a folk tale. Hey, oh, what great times we live in. I'm sliding down here, I hope.